Hi, boys and girls. Are you ready for a very scary section in the math book? Multi-step equations. I personally love this, but unless you're a fellow math lover, you might not feel the same way I do. I don't know. I also have changed the way I'm doing the secret word. I found out that some of you were just scrolling to the end of the video and getting the word and getting credit for watching the video, and you weren't really watching it. It's super important to me to make you watch it. So the secret word scramble is designed to make you actually watch the video. You need to have a paper and pencil, and you need to be looking for secret letters. I have hidden them on the slides in the presentation. At the end, when you go to the secret word thing, one of the multiple choice answers will have all of the secret letters that were in the secret word scramble. Okay? So keep track of them, write them down as they come. I'll try to remind you. And then when you get to the end, you'll know what letters go in the answer. Okay? All right, I have a graphic organizer. I went with anime for the theme on this one. I want to just briefly review some things here. We've done a section. We did a prequel, as it were. And this is just a brief review of the distributive property. When you distribute to get rid of parentheses, you multiply this number times all of the terms inside the parentheses. So we have -5 times 2x. That gives us -10x. And we have a -5 times a +3, which gives us a negative or -15. Okay. Over here, to get rid of the parentheses, we're going to multiply. 4 times x gives us 4x, and 4 times a +11 gives us +44. At the bottom, we are going to combine like terms. Here we always start with the variable term because we always want the variable term to be first. All right. So we look at the x's here. We have -10x and -1x. -10x plus -1x is -11x. There is no other term to combine with the -15, so we just leave it -15. Again, we always want the variable term to be first. All right. And there is only one variable term in this one, so we're going to start with the 4x, but we can combine these two constant terms. 44 and 1 gives us +45. Okay. Now at this point, I want you to pause the video and try to do these 6 problems. All right. Then when you unpause, I'll do them quickly and you can check your answer. Okay, so hit pause. Okay, so if you did it right, you've done these 6 problems. If you didn't, you're a cheetah. All right. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times +3 is +12. Okay. -5 times 2x is -10x. And -2 times +1 is -5.
Thank you to everyone for such a great week. I know
Always interruptions. Okay, where was I? 4 times 3x is 12x, and 4 times a -2 is a -8. Over here, we're going to combine like terms. Always start with the variable term. We can combine this +4t with this +1t and get +5t, and then there's nothing to combine with the +5, so we just do +5. Over here, we have the variable term. All by itself, it's the only variable term, nothing to combine with it. But we can combine the +7 and the +5 to give us +12. In this one, we have 2 variable terms and 2 constants, okay? Combine these 2 variable terms, this 6x and this 2x, they're both positive, so that gives us +8x. And then a -5 and a -3 gives us a -8. Okay. Did you get them right? Awesome. Okay, so now we're starting in the workbook. You're going to want to turn to page 145. There's one of the scariest I can statements you've ever seen, but don't say I never gave you one. Here you have the letter N. You need to write down the N. We didn't have any other ones, did we? Nope, nope. Okay, just write down. So you should have O and N at this point. All right. This is the very first example for this section. And it combines the distributive property and combining like terms, and then you finally get it down to an equation with variables on both sides, like what we did in section 3.1. And then you get down to a two-step equation. So these are going to have a lot of steps to them. Look at how much it takes to solve this thing. They've filled this all out for you, and I'm not going to redo this. The solution of the equation is -4. I will have the opportunity to do plenty of examples of these. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel on this one. Write down the M. So here's my first example of getting to do a multi-step problem for you. We start by distributing. 3 times 8 is 24x. Your first step is always going to be to get rid of the parentheses. 3 times +12 is +36. They've already written the plus sign for us. And then this -15x just kind of gets brought down. On the right-hand side, 2 times 3 is 6. And 2 times -3x is negative or -6x. Okay. Now we're going to be combining 24x and a -15x, which is going to give us 9x plus 36. We want to get rid of the smaller variable term. We got variables on both sides. Get rid of the smaller one, which is the -6. So we add 6x to both sides. 9x plus 6x is 15x. Now we're down to a two-step equation. Here's our variable term, so we want to get rid of this number. We do that by subtracting 36 from both sides, which gives us -30 on the side. Then our final step is to divide both sides by whatever number is touching our x. So we're going to divide both sides by 15, and we get x is -2. Okay. They want you to come over here then and plug -2 in for x in every case and see if you get the correct answer. And you get 18 equals 18, which tells you, yes, you did it right. All right, so here's a check. First thing you do is get rid of parentheses. So we go 8 times -2 is -16. And 8 times a positive x is a positive 8x. And then we have this -3x also on the left-hand side of the equal sign. On the right, there's nothing really to combine and there's nothing to distribute. So we're just going to let that come along for the ride. On the left-hand side, we do have terms we can combine. We should always tidy up when we can. All right. So, and we want the variable term to be first. So we have a positive 8x and we're going to subtract 3x, which is going to give us a positive 5x. Then we can write the constant -16 or -16. And then on the right-hand side, 6x plus 13 stays the same. Now, this is an example of an equation with variables on both sides. We always want to get rid of the smaller one. Well, usually want to get rid of the smaller one. And 5 is smaller than 6. So we're going to subtract 5x from both sides. That gives me -16 equals 1x plus 13. I have only one step left. I need to get rid of this 13, so I will subtract 13 from both sides. And I get -29 on the left and just x on the right. Now, normally there would be a coefficient of x. There'd be like a 3x or a 4x, and we'd have to do one more step. But because we happen to just have 1x, we're done now. Okay. Did you write down that O? Write down that O. Holy cow. If this isn't overwhelming, I don't know what is. This is a multi-step equation, and now they're adding in decimals. Oh, goody. So you're going to want to grab your handy-dandy calculator because it's going to be needed here. All right. 0.3 times 10 just happens to turn out nicely. It's 3. 0.3 times 5 is not so nice. 0.3 times 5 apparently is 1.5. All right. Now, what are they doing next? They left that the same, and then they came over here. Okay, see what the problem is here. You've got this minus sign in front of this, and there's no number here to distribute. But in math, when there is no number, that number is a 1. So we're distributing a -1 to get rid of this parenthesis here. All right. We bring this 31.5 down, and then we go -1 times 8x is -8x. And I would have gotten rid of the parentheses at this point. They're no longer needed. And -1 times +9 is -9. All right. Now these parentheses should be gone, 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 gone. All right. We only have the 1x term, so it comes down here, but they're combining 31.5 and minus 9. Hang on just a second. Sorry about that. It's Distraction City here today. Okay, so if we take 31.5 and we subtract the 9 from it, because this is a positive, that's a negative, so we subtract that, we get 22.5 here. And it's positive because the 31 was bigger. Over here, we're going to try to, we got to move these variables. Oh, they didn't do the variables first. Oh, I hate this example. They have decided to go ahead and get rid of this 3, all right? So they subtract 3 from both sides, and that means on the left-hand side, now all we have is negative 1.5x. And on the right-hand side, we subtract 3 from that, we get 19.5. And now they go and get the variables all on one side. Stupid way to do this problem. They should have gotten the variables all on one side to begin with. Don't do it like this. Do it like I tell you to do it. Okay, so they added 8x to both sides, and we get 6.5x over here. And then we divide both sides by 19.5. No, we don't. We don't. Oh, I'm not having a good time with this example. We divide both sides by the number next to the x, not the other one. So we divide both sides by 6.5, and we get x is 3. And then they want you to, even though you've gotten the answer now, they want you to go through all this to recheck it all and put 3's in where all the x's are, because they think that would be fun. It's not fun. Not fun at all. I'm a math teacher. I don't even want to do it. And you can imagine what the chances are of you doing it, because you don't want to do it either. Yeah, it ends up equal. All right. Moving on. Ain't nobody got time for that. Write down a K. All right, so here we have, and I'm not going to let this video go over 20 minutes. I'll do it in 2 parts if I have to. Here we have another one. See what they did here? They put this minus sign and there's no number here. You got to remember there's a 1 if there's no number. All right. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of parentheses. This 15 is just hanging out. We're just going to bring it on down. We're going to multiply negative 1 times 7x, which gives us negative 7x, and negative 1 times positive 20, which gives us negative or minus 20. On the right-hand side, we're multiplying 0.5 times 6. Well, 0.5 is a half. Half of 6 is 3. So this is 3x. And 0.5 times negative 14 is negative or minus 7. Now we need to tidy up. We have 2 constants on the same side of the equal sign that can be combined. We can combine negative 20 with 15. But what do we always want first? That variable term. Negative 20 and 15 gives us negative 5. Okay. Now we have variables on both sides. We want to get rid of the smaller one. Negative 7x is smaller than 3x. So we add 7x to both sides. And we get negative 5 equals 10x minus 7. Here's our variable term. So we want to get rid of this number. We get rid of it by adding 7 to both sides. And we get 2. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2 equals 10x. Then we divide both sides by 10. And we get that x is equal to, yes, you must reduce it, 1/5. Now, because this was originally a decimal problem, they're going to want a decimal answer. So when you put this in the computer, you should make sure you give them the decimal version of that, which is 0.2. You would have done it on a calculator most likely, and it would have given you that answer. Now they're going to put fractions in the problems. Okay, it's okay. I can handle this. First thing we're going to do is get rid of these parentheses by using the distributive property. Distribute 1/2 times 6x. Well, what's 1/2 of 6? 3. So we have 3x. Half of negative 4 is negative 2. Bring down the 6x. 12 times 1/6x, negative 12 times 1/6x is going to be negative 2x. And negative 12 times a positive 2 is going to be a negative 24, right? Now, over here on the left, they want you to combine like terms. You have a positive 3x and a positive 6x, which gives you a positive 9x. And then the minus 2 comes here. This side, there's nothing to combine. These terms are not like and they can't be added together. Now we have an equation with variables on both sides. We get rid of the smaller one, the negative 2x, by adding 2x to both sides. That gives us 11x minus 2 equals just the negative 24 because these are gone now. Next, we want to get 11x by itself. We want to get rid of the minus 2. We add 2 to both sides. We get 11x equals negative 22. Then we divide both sides by 11, and we get x is negative 2. These are pretty involved. Interrupted again. Okay, did you write down the P? Write down the P. Okay. Now, these fraction problems are getting a little out of hand. Make sure you have a good calculator handy. If you don't have a TI-30, you really should ask Santa for one because I'm telling you, they're very invaluable in these problems. All right, so we have to, first of all, get rid of the parentheses. We do that by using the distributive property. So you're going to want to, in your calculator, multiply 3/4 times negative 5x. That's going to give us negative 15/4 x. And then 3/4 of negative 8 is negative 6. You would have done 3/4 times negative 8 in your calculator. It will give you negative 6. Over here, we also have parentheses we need to get rid of. Negative 6 times x is negative 6x. Negative 6 times positive 4 is negative 24 plus 1/4 x. Nothing to combine on the left-hand side. Think of this as like the Great Wall of Math here. You can combine like terms if they're on the same side. You can't combine them if they're on opposite sides. Nothing to combine here. Negative 15/4 x minus 6 is going to stay just like it is. Over here, though, we have the ability to combine these two x terms. A negative 6x and a positive 1/4 x is going to be equal to a negative 5 3/4 x. And then minus 24. Makes me kind of wonder, what is this equal to over here? Well, how many 4s are in 15? That would be 3 of them, because that would be 12/4. So this is a negative 3, and if we take 12 out of here, we would have 3/4 left. So this is equal to this one. Okay? And I wanted to know that because my next step then is going to be to get rid of the smaller variable. Well, because these are both negative, the bigger number is smaller. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And I do that by adding 5 3/4 x to both sides. Again, rely on your calculator here. You would do negative 15/4 plus 5 3/4, but that's going to give us positive 2x minus 6 equals negative 24. Look how nice and tidy that got so fast, huh? And then we're just going to get this 2x by itself. We do that by adding 6 to both sides. Now we have 2x equals 18. We divide both sides by 2, and we get x is 9. Good times. You know you love it. The good news is that's it for this video. Anyway, the next video I'll make will be going over the practice problems with you. I hope that you wrote down all the letters. Go over to McGraw-Hill to the secret word and figure out which one of them contains the letters in the presentation. And I will see you in the next exciting installment of 3-3 multi-step equations. That's all for now.